Alright, hey, so I found a replay in your match history. What have you said in your Viver thing? You say, you struggle with last hitting minions as a LeBlanc, because most of the time she can only auto attack. I can't pressure the opponent while taking all CS and laning phase as well. Either taking all last hits but not trading or win trades losing some minions. Mentality is unstable, which affects your mechanics and decision making. Lack of wave management and sometimes lost as not thinking about anything in team fights. Now, when you say your mentality is unstable, I'm not super sure what you mean by this. If you mean by like you get tilted and stuff, I'll talk quickly about how I think you should deal with that. So in my opinion, tilt is definitely something that builds up over multiple games. So for me, the way I kind of deal with tilt is, well, actually, first off, I play with mute all on. Like I don't or rather, I play with chat off, I think is the actual setting. So I can't see what my teammates type, which it's actually what my teammates type that piss me off more than what happens in the game. And also, if I ever lose a game, I normally take just like a 5-minute break where I just don't queue up. And I think that makes a big difference in helping stop those like games where you get tilted one game after another, and eventually it builds up and like actually affects you. If that's not what you mean by your mentality is unstable, maybe like clarify to me after kind of what you mean, because I'm not totally sure what that means. But the rest of the stuff is very understandable. Like CSing on LeBlanc, pretty difficult. But we'll have a look. So Q start versus Lissandra is smart, pushing. Oh, I'm actually going to turn this down a bit. It's a little bit loud. Down a bit. And also, at the end, I'll write you up a bunch of notes like it's on the other one, and I'll go through them. So, yeah. Let's take a look at this. So, so far, this is all good. Now, what runes do you have? Okay, so you don't really need Time Warp Tonic and, what's this one? Time Warp Tonic and Biscuits versus Lissandra. So unless you're versus a champion with very heavy skill shots, like, okay, other champions are a bit different because they're taking sorcery primary. But when you're playing an electric primary champion, if you can greed for the sorcery tree of Mana Flow Transcendence, normally that will be better. Probably the only matchups I would run this on as LeBlanc would be versus Syndra and Orianna, because those are just like, they're tough matchups and you really, really need the extra like movement speed to make the difference. In this matchup, I think if you have sorcery, you can just look to Q her on cooldown for your Mana Flow. Yeah, I'd say that's better. Also, I feel like Ultimate Hunter is better than Treasure Hunter just in general. Yeah, I don't think Treasure Hunter is super valuable. Yeah, let's go back a bit. So the way you can like look for just like poke with Q, like if you are starting Q, it's a very short cooldown and very low mana cost. So you should probably be looking to Q her when she's going for a creep. Like right now, I think you should probably Q her for this one. Especially now that she's used her Q. This should probably be a Q auto when she goes for this creep, but instead she gets another one for free. And like now, it's like you've walked up and you're queuing her, but she's not even CSing a creep, so she gets to kind of order you back for free. So it's like pretty weird timing by your part, and obviously doesn't turn out super well for you. You're pushing the wave back. And that's a good Q because she was on cooldown, couldn't trade back. So far, that's okay. Level 2. LeBlanc actually can trade versus Lissandra, you just have to wait for one of her cooldowns to be down. So like here's another time where you probably should have queued her, but you let her get away with it. Also here, I think you could look for a QW order while her Q's on cooldown. Okay, you do. Like, so that's a good punish, right? Like this time you recognize that she was on cooldown and punish her, but I think there were other times when you could have been more aggressive with your Q. Maybe you're just looking for the QW trades. I think so far your CSing is fine, so I'm not seeing any problems yet. This, I would say, is very bad. So, for a couple of reasons. You really want to hold this wave. That's for like 3 reasons. So first, if this guy bases here and gets a free recall and this crashes, you're quite far behind. So that's one reason. The second reason is that LeBlanc has really good gank setup. So if the lane is stuck here, like on your side of the wave, it's very difficult for Lissandra to play the game. And the third reason is that you will really struggle with CSing under the tower. So all you do here, you literally just walk this wave a little bit to the side and then you're in a super good spot. If you let it crash like this, yeah, it's really bad for you. So yeah, I think you could have held this wave. I think like the way it kind of crashes under tower here is not optimal. You're going to lose creeps. You managed to get those ones. But yeah, I mean, it's not too bad because it didn't fully crash, but I think it could have been a little better. So maybe I went too harsh on you there. Now this is okay. This is all good. At least she stopped her base. I'm keeping the wave close, which I think is fine. This is definitely a matchup where you are sort of just like, you kind of have to wait for her to make a mistake for you to make plays. Okay, again, so she's used the cooldown. I think you could play a lot more aggressive here. So literally, she uses her Q, 7-second cooldown. Where is it? So right here, as soon as this happens, you should just walk at her. You can either look for a Q or you can look to just like W to here and then EQ her. But either way, like you're full mana, full HP, so you shouldn't be worried about anything. That should definitely have been a punish. And instead, it's like another window that doesn't really get punished at all. Yeah, here is just going to be a test of your last hitting. I think also here could be another opportunity to punish this Q. I think, yeah, you're getting a lot of opportunities to look to punish, and you're just not really taking them. Yeah, so this is like super weird. Well, it's not like that weird. Okay, so I'll explain. So, there are like good things about this trade. Like you have minion advantage and you have level advantage. So you do have some advantages, but like you're strong enough now, kind of as you were before, like when she didn't have cooldowns. So like you look for a trade now, but it goes, I mean, like this is still quite good for you, right? But you could have, like, this could be a kill if you'd been trading those other times. So you recognize there that you had the level advantage, but you didn't recognize when you just had cooldown advantages, and honestly, they're pretty similar in terms of like power, I would say. So you're trading this guy really well. I think here you're playing a bit greedy. Where did you place your ward, by the way? I need to go back. So, okay, so right now you haven't placed a ward at all. I'm just going to 8 times this. Okay, so like by this time you have 2 wards, so you at least should have placed a ward by now, and that would give you like some vision to hug to. But I think also it's just in general, you're kind of hugging to the wrong side here. So like, well, you have no vision, so it's scary. I'm gonna actually, I'll go to your vision. It's scary to push past this halfway point. Like if you look at the map, right? It's very scary at the moment, but also, like if you don't have any vision, you should just hug towards your jungler, because it means if they make a play, you can move towards them. And also, normally they provide a little bit of vision, but instead you're like actively walking towards the place that is like more unsafe, although I don't think you know for sure where Trundle is. So you're forced to flash, and I think that could have all been avoided. One, if you just place wards. I think you should normally place a ward at 2:30 and another one at 4 minutes, which should help prevent this. And also, like, your hugging could have been a bit better, but like not having any wards by 4 minutes is pretty crazy. Actually, we're almost 5 minutes and you haven't used a single ward, so that's really, really insane, because like LeBlanc, even if she doesn't ward for herself, she has such good mobility that you can instead create value with deep wards. So right now, you just don't do anything, basically. Yeah, you just like don't have any pressure on the map. No vision. You're not helping out your team at all. The only thing you can do is pressure lane, really. So far, so you dive and get this kill. I think this is pretty good, honestly. Let's just see if there's any way you could have done it without dying. But I think it's a pretty good trade, I would say. Let's see. He's holding his spells. He uses Q. Pretty short cooldown now, though, so it's harder to punish. Yeah, you don't have flash. Let's just see that one more time. I'm pretty sure if you... He has flash. I'm pretty sure if you Q... Let's see, 400 damage. Yeah, that probably doesn't kill him. Like, okay, if you... EQ... Like, maybe you can QEW him here and just kill him. I think you can. So like if you open with Q, just like right now QEW, so that you get the mark proc, get the ignite. He might flash your W, but then you would get out and you wouldn't get rooted. Instead, you do manage to trade for the 1-for-1, so it's not awful. It's actually pretty good because like the wave's gonna push back to you and stuff. But I think if you played it a little better, you could have killed this guy without dying. But overall, it's like sort of a product of what's happened before. Like you don't have your flash, and also you've missed a lot of opportunities to trade, so it's a lot closer than it should have been. Come back to lane. Now, you know this guy has no, what's it called? No flash, so if he's ever too far up in the lane, you could definitely look for an all-in on him. I think so far your CSing is honestly fine. Like, the CS you've missed has been from like, what's it called? From dying, basically. Now here, you should recognize a bit earlier that this is going to happen. So, again, like, you have no wards, but you can't really ward here yet because you got to catch this wave. You should back ping on this. It's really obvious that Lissandra is going to move. I'm actually just going to play on your vision. So yeah, it's really obvious that Lissandra is going to move. Now here, if Lissandra does move here, you cannot get here in time to do anything. You should just push out this wave. So you run down to try salvage something, and surprise, surprise, there's what, like 1 kill? Yeah, I mean, this is super shit for you. I'm actually, first, before I even show this to you, I'm going to show you what happens to your wave. So you miss 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 7. So no matter what you get on this roam, you lose 11 creeps and another wave. So we're looking at 17 creeps plus a tower plate. So when you tell me you're bad at CSing, like, this is why, because you just did the worst roam I've ever seen. So the reason this is bad, first off, as a general rule, you want to push before roaming. That's like one thing. It's not always the case, but the second reason is that your jungler is nowhere nearby, so you're going to be walking to somewhere where it's like a what's it called? It's like a 4v3, I guess. Also, you don't have flash or ignite, so while you do have some cooldowns, you're also missing some of your cooldowns. So like, maybe this is doable if you have more of your cooldowns. But basically, there's like multiple reasons stacked up here for this to be bad. So I think, yeah, it was like, what did you miss? You missed like 17 creeps or something, and a tower plate. So that would be like 500 gold or something. Instead, you come down here. I'd say you're actually pretty lucky that these guys face check you here. And then I think you could have got out. Like, okay, it's still pretty bad that you went for this, but if you get a kill and just get out, like, okay, if you just, like, retreat now, it's fine. But again, you've just committed all your cooldowns. You literally don't have anything up, by the way. No flash, no ignite. Both your basic skills are down, and both your pads are already on the floor. So you have nothing left, and you're just walking into a Lissandra. Like, that's crazy. So you die, and yeah, this is, like, insanely fucked for you. So at the very least, if you do go for this, like, really bad roam, if you played it better, it would have turned out better. But yeah, I really don't like the roam. I think it's very punishing. The wave's pushing back to you. This is okay. I think Lissandra still has no flash, so you could maybe look for something on her. She's using a lot of spells on the wave. It's pretty hard to punish the cooldown now because it's down to 4 seconds. At this point in the lane, it is quite difficult for LeBlanc. You can look for all-ins, but in terms of actual, like, short punish trades, it's quite hard for you now. I don't think you've bought a Pinko game either. Also, this is another super useless ward. So, when you're playing LeBlanc, like, you can afford to ward further out because you can W over walls and ward deeper. Also, you have extra mobility, so you don't need closer wards. And in general, wards in this bush are super useless because, like, if someone walks around, you just don't see it, right? So you always want your wards a bit further out. You don't even have to walk all the way to the bush. Sometimes you can just ward, like, right here. That even gives you, like, enough vision, but so far your warding has been awful. And LeBlanc is one of the champs that can get greedier wards and actually create quite a lot of value for her team because you can afford to ward deeper. Like, you even see some LeBlancs do stuff like they'll walk up W and like ward over the Krug wall and stuff. Like, you can get really insanely deep wards on LeBlanc, but you can't do in other champs and not get punished for it, basically. I think, yeah, this you kind of just have to accept. I don't think you can realistically punish at the moment. Lissandra walks up, but that's okay. I'm not sure why you're walking down here. So it's really important that when the mid-waves spawn, you want to contest them as soon as possible. The earlier you contest the wave, the more prior you get and the more time you get. So at the very least, you want to contest this wave when it gets here, right? But ideally, you actually start heading the wave up here. But the problem is, while the waves are meeting, you're just walking in the river with no ward, so I actually don't know what you're doing here. It's just a waste of time, and it gives Lissandra prior on the wave. Let's see. What happened here? Lissandra uses Q. Okay, she used W. Now you can look for the trade. Good punish by you. I think this could be a kill. So you used the wrong combo here, but she has no flash, right? Okay, yeah, she's dead. So if you double chain here, there's no way she lives. So let's see. You did. So it should be W, E, R, Q. But because you mess up the combo, you can't kill her. And actually, I think you could have killed her anyway. Because all you need to do is hold your ignite to the end. So you W. So what did you do? You did E. If you'd done just EQR, I think then you could just walk with her. Also to ult. She probably wouldn't die because you wouldn't have the chains to keep her in place that long if you'd done your combo. But you at least could have gotten her ult there and probably killed her later. So I think you missed a kill there, which is pretty big, obviously. Now let's see, what did you buy here? So you bought Blasting Wand. In my opinion, it's better to buy Merc Treads here because you're against Lissandra and Sejuani and Brand, so there's like a ton of CC that you're going to need to avoid. And I think in general, it would be, even if you're building Storked, it would be better to upgrade your boosts and buy the Blasting one here. So I would have preferred to see that. Come back on the map. Your biscuits have done nothing for you, so obviously would prefer that was a pink ward, or better yet, just take a different rune page. Again, really don't like the roam, so like, okay, there's some reasons, there are actually a lot of reasons why this is a better roam than before, so I'll talk through them. First, you have all your cooldowns this time. Second, your jungler is here, and the enemy bot is pretty low on health, so it's like, for a lot of reasons, it is actually quite good. But again, it's like, you're going to lose a whole cannon wave by walking here, and probably a turret plate. Also, you're not going to get this. So you come down to a roam, and now you're forced to walk all the way back mid. So again, you just like gave Lissandra full control for no reason. You didn't lose that many creeps, but you could have got a tower plate here if you were just pushing. So you need to just like think more about your roams and roam at better times. Yeah, so far I actually think your LeBlanc CSing is fine, so maybe we'll see if it's more of a mid-game thing. Also, because you were so late to this wave, Lissandra got so much priority, that's why she can actually contest this. So you can see that that move down the bot was like extremely punishing after you. Now she just used everything, so I think you... Oh no. Yeah, you probably could have killed her there. I think you still can. Guess you have to be kind of careful here because you don't have Merc Treads and you could probably die in 1 CC against the Everfrost ult. Let's skip through. Yeah, so you got Loons. I really think it would have been nice to have Merc Treads, to be honest. But I don't know. If you can get to Ludens without getting punished for it, obviously it's really good. But I think you should normally buy it when you're against this much CC. Especially against Lissandra with Everfrost. This is all fine. Yeah, you kind of just got to accept the wave. Again, like, the problem is you having no pink and placing your wards badly means you never have any idea where Lissandra is going. Which makes playing the game quite difficult for you, I'd say. Now here, Lissandra went top, you should just punish mid. There's nothing else for you to do right now. I don't think coming bot is good. These guys look like too high HP. I mean, I guess if they just stay. But it's still a 4v4. Like, it's not super good. You kind of just have to play it better than they do. I think you used the wrong combo as well. Yeah, okay. Actually, the fight looks pretty decent. I mean, you guys are sort of winning. Okay, let's look at it. So I think it's more gold and better overall if you take this mid tower and get another wave. But if you do come down to this because like you really want to fight it, and I'm not sure you should, but yeah, because like your Renata is not. Well, anyway, if you are gonna do this, oh wait, no, you didn't even have ult. So you used ult on the wave, so I think it was like pretty bad to walk down here. So that's why you did the wrong combo. I thought you had ult up here. But yeah, you have nothing else that you can do here. I think you could have got the EQ off on that guy without dying. So you come down to this, but you don't actually get anything out of it, I don't think. Or you get 1 kill, but you would have got I think you would have got more gold just from pushing mid. Now you can't take this tower. Like, this is a good roam, because you've pushed the wave all the way in. The wave is just now crossing your tier 3 tower, so even if by the time you get here, you realize that the roam is bad, that's fine, because you can just walk back to mid. And also Rengar can cover mid in this situation. Again, I think this looked to me like it was the wrong combo. So this should be another double chain combo. So this should be W-E-R-Q, like to space them out. Instead it's W... Oh wait, you just... What happened? Where did you use your second dash? Did you open with R? Yes, that's super weird. I really don't like the combo. I think if you double chain, you can probably get the guy out here. I'm not sure you can kill this guy because he's super, super tanky. But we could have got out. Really bad death as well. I think this is... If you have Merc Treads, this is a bit easier to get out of. You probably need to just flash down here to get out. Or maybe... Yeah, you kind of just get killed by your clone. Kind of rough. Pretty bad death though, I'd say. But I think you could have got out. Yeah, Sorkshoes are way too greedy this game. They have so much CC on the enemy team. So you really need Mercs this game, or it's going to be really hard for you to play. I like the Void stuff second though. I think that's going to be good probably. They should be getting a lot of tank stats soon. Push the wave. Again, I think this is pretty bad, so you should never be just like leaving the wave like this. Like you should be, if you don't want to contest this wave, you should at least catch it back here, but instead you're just like giving them prior over mid while you just AFK in a push. Super weird, you're losing farm, they're getting mid prior for no reason. Doesn't make sense. Wait, can't you kill Trundle? I think if you look for a double chain combo on Trundle, he's probably dead, or at least has to flash. So it should be E. I mean, you have everything up. Oh wait, did you double dash again? How do you keep using double dash? Yeah, you've got to stop, like, if you're doing this, it's so you can RQWE, but you just, like, keep wasting your ult, in times where it's not really good to use that combo. So, like, I'd say RQW is like, a really good combo, but there's a lot of times here where you can't burst someone, so you want to use a double chain combo instead. I like that instead. And actually, I think also you might realize that this sort of happens again because you're not really contesting the mid wave. So you could have been fighting for it up here probably, but instead, like now, they get kind of full control over this. Like the mid wave's under your tower. Rengar jumps in, so there's nothing you can do about that. This position that you're in now, you should be walking around to try find a flank. Like, you're useless if you're just looking at their two tanks. Right now, your position has no threat whatsoever. So, if you were, like, walking around here and looking to flank or looking to find their ADC, it would be a lot better. Also, it looks like you're about to share golden XP with your entire team, so I really hope you don't do that. Yeah, you didn't do that. Good decision to walk top, I think. And I think you should probably just keep pushing this out. Skim through here. I think you actually just keep going. Like, you don't need to be scared on the side lane, or at least you shouldn't feel the need to be scared, because, like, you have so much mobility. So here, you pretty much push this wave as far as you can to where you feel safe. Like, if you don't feel safe walking up to the tower, like, I understand that. But you're grouping here too early. And again, I'm just, like, I'm going to come back to this. This was at 1954. Let me show you what happens to your wave. So, you push this, right? Now, let's see how many waves you lose here. So you lose one full cannon wave. You lose another full wave. You lose another full cannon wave. And you lose another full wave. And another one. So you lost like 5 waves and stacked up a giant wave for the enemy to farm. This is why the side laning thing is so important. So I'm going to go back to here. Like, if you... I'm not even sure why you're here, because the dragon's not spawning anyway, so I'm not sure why you're grouped. It's just really random. You're just, like, accepting the ARAM for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why you're here. Also, another kind of weird combo, I think. So I think there's, like, a couple things you can do here. You can either wait for this guy to face check you, and you can hit him with, like, the EQRW. Or if you're going to do this, you need to make sure you can hit your W as well. So I think you might have been able to kill this guy with RQW Ignite. But the combo you did here, like W for no damage, QRE. To be honest, if you'd ignite him... Well, actually, no, I wouldn't have killed him. But anyway, yeah, I think you were just like a bit too impatient. Honestly, I think that's probably the main thing. And also, you're a lot weaker than you should be, right? Like, you're level 12 to that guy's level 10. Whereas I think by now you could be like level 13 or level 14. And if you're a bit higher HP, I mean, higher level, you have a bit more gold. He definitely dies. So unfortunately, you die here. It also sort of sucks that you have no Merc Treads again, because it means that when you get CC'd here, you just kind of get locked here forever. Like, let's actually see. So you go back, you get stunned, you get rooted, you get ulted, and Everfrosted. So without Merc Treads, you had no opportunity to really play the game after your initial mistake. Yeah, so that really sucks. But I don't think you should have been looking for the fight here anyway. I'm starting to think this Void Staff second actually wasn't good. I thought what was going to happen is they were going to build, like, I think Lissandra should build MR, and I was thinking that, like, Ezreal might just buy Null Magic, but I think, maybe you don't need to. Like, you're kind of solo AP. Renata is, like, half AP. Well, like, she is AP, but she just doesn't really do much damage. I think this probably should have been Shadow Flame. Like, you don't really care about doing damage to Sejuani and Trundle. So it should only be if these three are going to buy MR, and it just looks like they're not really. And I think, yeah, maybe you can actually expect that. Like, Bran just builds full damage. Ezreal, like, I guess, even if he had the Null Magic, it wouldn't be a big deal. And Lissandra didn't go Mercs anyway, so I think, yeah, you probably don't need to itemize Void stuff second this game. So you guys get some kills. Like, that's good. You played your vision really well there. Okay, so here, when you are a LeBlanc, it is much better to just be like, you don't really want to DPS Baron for the most part because your Baron DPS sucks. I think after this point, after you've used the QW on the Baron, you should just be like walking around here trying to find Lissandra, trying to make sure Trundle can never get here in time. Yeah, so like this was super late. Okay, thank God you got it, but it was just like bad anyway, I think. Like, you need to realize how useless you are at DPSing Baron. This is not your role. Your team definitely has enough DPS to do this, so all you need to do is make sure people can't get in. Like, to be honest, maybe you don't even QW this at the start. Maybe you just walk here right now and sit on here and wait for Lissandra. But instead, you kind of just do the lowest pressure thing possible. In fact, you even trade places with Lissandra, which is pretty funny. So yeah, that causes you guys to die, lose 2 Barons that I would say were both unnecessary. You're going Banshees now, but this is bad in my opinion. I think it should be Merc Treads instead. Like, I think it's better to have Mercs and no Banshees than it is to have Banshees and buy Sorks. So I don't really like it, to be honest. But I think, like, because you didn't buy Mercs, you kind of are forced to buy Banshees. Now you path bot. Okay, well, you were pathing bot. This would be really good here. Like, if your team fights now, it's not really your fault. You need to play 2 waves with Baron, and the top wave's too far away. Even though you don't have Baron, you should be pushing this out, trying to get it all the way to the tier 2. Instead, once you notice your team starts fighting, you start running towards them, and it's like you're not farming anything. Good combo though, it looks like. So yeah, you should have been pushing this wave the whole time, but let's see. So I think this should probably be Flash RQW. Right, Flash RQW. So instead it was... What did you do? R Flash W? Let me just look at your combo. Couldn't tell. You did R Flash QW. Okay, so yeah, I would say in the early game, this is better. But after level 11, you can see that your R actually does more damage than your W. When you're in the early game, it's actually the other way around. So if this were early game, I think, yeah, like R Flash QW is good. But I think in this situation, it probably should have been, probably like W Flash R QE or something. I think you could have done more damage with that. I think like if you'd used R instead of W here, you probably would have killed that Bran without investing anything else into him. But either way, it's pretty good, right? Like it was good, but I think still you shouldn't be here, in my opinion. It would have been better to be pushing bot and pushing this all the way in. Again, you get pretty lucky, I would say, that 2 people are just walking up here on like 1 HP. Yeah. So I did think you got pretty lucky there. And this is also super, super weird. Like, okay, you right here, if you do kill these guys, you should be pushing the wave and taking the tower. Because Tristan is farming bot. And so instead, you're just like giving up the mid wave and giving up the tower so you can farm a Gromp. It's just like super strange. So you give up all your control over mid. You don't get any farm on the waves. I don't really get it at all, to be honest. You need to prioritize waves a lot higher than you are right now. Because what's your CS? Like, yeah, your CS is 155, and you were saying that your LeBlanc CSing was bad, but it has nothing to do with LeBlanc. It's because you keep, like, roaming at bad times, not prioritizing waves, stuff like that. It's literally nothing to do with your champion, in my opinion. You push that base here. Here, I can understand walking mid out of base because it looks like there's going to be a fight, but as soon as possible, you should get back to a side lane. I think now you should probably be looking to go to a side lane, so... I think this guy's just dead, right? Yeah, so you want to run straight bot here. Let Aurelia farm top probably. Instead, again... I'm not sure you can do anything here anyway. Maybe you can't run bot, actually, just like looking at it, because it's like... Your Rengar just died. If you'd realized earlier, or if you'd pushed top maybe, but yeah, I guess you're right. Like now by this point, it's sort of hard to run anywhere else. So, yeah, you're trying to do whatever you can here, but it's pretty difficult to find an angle. At least now your void stuff's going to be valuable, because they are starting to get MR, but again, it's like on the tanks, like the people you don't really want to hit anyway. I think there is not... Like here, you really need to find an angle onto Ezreal, so I like that you're looking for a flank. I think here, though, you were a bit too safe, so like the person you want to hit is on the other side of the fight. You probably need to be like walking around like this and like forcing him further into your base. Instead, again, it's like he's just able to walk up like without getting punished, and now the tanks are in between you and him, so you don't create any pressure. I think you're a bit too safe there. Let's take a look. This again. So, okay, so that guy used his E, so you're definitely right to look for a punish. I think the way to kill this guy is probably RQW, or you could WQRE. So you did RQWE. Yeah, that was pretty close. I mean, yeah. No, I think it's a good combo. Maybe RQWE kills him, though. I mean, like WQRE. Yeah, no, I think it's a good combo, to be honest. It just sucks that you're so weak at the moment. Like, it's mainly because you have just, like, sort of shitty items. Like, you're building a Banshees. Your Void stuff doesn't do as much against Ezreal as your Shadow Flame. And also, you're a lot weaker than you should be. Like, he was level 14 to your level 14. You only just ticked over right now. So you're just too weak, to be honest. Like, you should be a lot stronger to where those are getting kills for you instead of just, like, not getting kills. Here, you should not be walking mid out of base with your team, I don't think. I think here you could probably walk straight top. They've got 2 people dead, the others are chunked. Instead, you're just like babysitting, sharing XP and gold on the mid wave, not really getting yourself ahead. Like the way you're playing, you're really, really reliant on getting kills because you're like not farming anything. Like this wave has been dead the whole time. You haven't farmed that at all. Again, I would say probably same thing here. Like, you should have already been in this wave. I think you could push another wave, but again, it's like you have to get kills with the way you're playing because you're not getting income from anywhere else. You come into this fight. Yeah, I mean, you just don't do anything. Like, look at these waves. You need to farm these a lot. Like way more. The guy... And also, it's like, if a fight starts for you like this, where again, you don't have access to the enemy backline, you're just useless. It's like here, honestly, you probably need to W over and go with Aurelia, because I think here, this is not that pressuring. I guess the reason you guys win this fight so hard is because, like, Ezreal didn't reset from before. But because even though you won this fight, because your waves are in such bad locations, you don't even get a huge amount off it. Like, normally, if you win a fight and the waves are pushed, you get a lot. You can take camps, you can take objectives. But if you win a fight and the waves aren't pushed, it's really hard for you guys to get stuff. Like, you know, you didn't get any towers off that. I don't think you get any objectives specifically off that. Like, you didn't get a Baron. You might get this dragon, but again, I don't think it was because you won that team fight. It was just like, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't really the reason anyway. I don't think anyway. So here, once again, you need to find a much better position. This is not threatening at all. You're looking at the 2 tanks. Their 2 carries are over here. You need to be trying to match position with their carries to kind of find a location. And yeah, right now, you're just... It doesn't really matter. Like, what do kills on Trundle even do? Not much. So far, you're just playing... You're playing LeBlanc in this team fight kind of like a Victor or something. Where you're like trying to hit tanks and just like deal as much damage as possible. Double chain combo. Very nice. So you comboed well this fight. I do like that. But again, you were just like in a really the wrong place before the fight started. Waves were pushed this time. I actually want you to see this. So this time you won a fight. Your mid wave was pushed, your top wave was pushed, and your bot wave is like pretty good. So because you won this fight, you can actually get a lot for it. You're able to get like this mid. I mean, sorry. You can get the mid wave pushed in. You can farm the Baron. You guys get a full race set up. So now you're in like a super good spot. And that was the difference, is like if your waves had been pushed in there, you guys probably would have been forced to base. Let's see what happened here. I think playing 2 lanes with Baron would be good. You have your Rengar close to you. I don't think you should be scared here. I don't know why you're basing. You're basing for Rod, I guess? Yeah, so this is not worth it. When you get Baron, you need to spend all your gold, and then you just need to pressure, basically. So here, you should be staying on the map and pushing the wave, but because you base, like, yeah, you become more powerful, but you lose 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, because you're not pushing the spot wave. You guys are wasting your Baron. Now, Rengar's based as well. So yeah, right now your base has like fucked your Baron tempo a lot. Like yeah, look at this. Your wave is all the way here, even though you guys just got the Baron. I think now you probably could have taken mid and bot towers by now if you had played better. This is good though. You've got a really nice flank into Ezreal. Really good. Yeah, I understand that. You probably weren't thinking about Azonius. So comboed well that fight. I like the combo you went for. You had a really good flank before the team fight, which is why you win this. I think this is fine, to be honest. You can waste a lot of their time. I don't think they ever catch you. Now, I think... Yeah, this is good. I think they are pushed pretty far up, and like your wave's already in fine spots. You can probably get some kills here. This guy dies, I think. Looks pretty dead to me anyway. Yep, so you did that well. I think here you could probably pressure bot, I think is what you're pinging. Yeah, you're pinging on the way to bot. Yeah, like this is good. Like this is great, actually. You're pushing in this bot wave. You should just hit this tower. Yep, okay, very nice. So you're doing this really well. I like this as well. Like you don't really have pressure here, but you can look to pressure over here. So this is all really good. I think that guy just E'd, no? Oh, he didn't. Now here, you should definitely be a little more aggressive. So at this point in the game, your LeBlanc R cooldown is so low, 23 seconds. On pretty much every wave, you can just like look for ulti combos. So like what I would do here, even if you can't kill this guy, I would literally just like W here and QR him. Even if you can't hit the E, it's just going to chunk him to like half HP and make the game really hard for him. Instead, you're holding your cooldowns, and I'm not really sure why, because they're so low now. So I guess maybe you were scared of Lissandra, but there were places you could have W'd here where you'd been safe. This is good. QRE, kill that guy. Very nice combo. That was good. Yeah, so that kill was really, really valuable. Again, all you need to do here is find a position where you can threaten Ezreal. So I think right now you're running too far down. This is a 4v4, and I think you can win it. So I think right here, you should just probably wait here. Or wait here. You can use this to sweep the vision, but yeah, the problem is, again, oh, I mean, maybe you're just deciding to give. If you're deciding to give already, then that's fine, but I don't think you need to. And the problem is, again, you've ended up in a spot where, I mean, okay, that guy's inting, but you don't threaten their 80 carry here, which is a really big problem. Like, the 80 carry is completely safe behind 3 tanks. And once again, you're not in a position to threaten him. Here, you actually do manage to find one, so that's good. You kill this guy. Just play around your cooldowns. Could have played that better, I think. Let's have a look at it. So, the R's on cooldown. I think this should be a WEQ. So, EQ. Very nice. I think here, as soon as that happens, you go back to your W and you just like walk around for a bit. Yeah, so you just like, no, you misplayed mechanically a bit, but I do like it. For the most part, you use the correct combo and you're in the correct, or a relatively correct position. So let's talk about it. Let me get my notes. So early game for you. Early game CD punishment in the early game was a really big thing for you. So like you need to know like what cooldowns are important / how long they are. So there's lots of times where you could have been harassing Lissandra and you didn't. Also, the roaming, like ideally don't roam before pushing. Like if you do, it has to be a really good roam, you know? Like, they have to be just free kills. So, you need to think about a lot more about where your wave is. I think, in general, you need to prioritize waves a lot more. There's so many times where you just give up CS pretty much for no reason. I think, also, there was some times in the early game and the mid game, I guess, where, like, okay, especially early game, like, use double chain combo more. I think in the late game, the double chain combo is pretty useless because like RQW, WR, or QR are going to be better. But in the early game, double chain combo is definitely the best. I'd say definitely before level 11. Obviously, it depends, right? There are some times in the early game where you use the other ones, but right now it feels like you don't. I think I saw you use this combo like maybe once or twice this game, whereas I think you should be using it pretty evenly with the double dash combo in the early game. So that's very LeBlanc specific, but I think that could help you as well. I also think your runes, you can be greedier. Don't need like Time Warp Tonic versus Lissandra, or to be honest, basically anything that's not Syndra or Orianna, or maybe like some other ones, Azir, possibly Xerath. But for the most part, I think you can be way greedier. take mana flow plus how the fuck do you spell transcendence? Is that it? I don't know. I'll give it a go. I don't think that's how you spell it. I'm gonna Google it because I feel self-conscious. Transcendence. Is that how I spelt it? No, I don't have a C in there. Okay. There we go. Fixed it. Oops, wrong button. So what else was there? In the mid game, yeah, in the mid game also, like again, like prioritize waves, like so much, like you're either not farming or sharing XP slash farm with other people, so this causes you to fall really, really far behind when you should be getting really ahead. Like in general, just play side lane more. You're grouping too much. You should generally only group after pushing the side wave in, so that then you can group and they have to deal with the wave, which gives you a numbers advantage. Or if you're like contesting dragon or something, so group after pushing or for objectives. I think another thing, the itemization. I can understand why you went for void stuff this game. So I can kind of understand like void stuff versus Shadow Flame. I think it definitely should have been Shadow Flame this game, but I can understand it. The bigger thing for me was no Merc Treads and then buying Banshees. So you really don't want Banshees, but I think you really want Merc Treads. I think if your itemization were better, the game would have been a lot better in general. I think, yeah, team fights were also a big thing. So finding a threatening position like before team fights, you really need to think about who the most important targets are, because a lot of the time you're just like hitting tanks, or you're not really in a position to threaten or AD carry. And yeah, I'm also gonna say like target selection. Like when you're hitting tanks, it's such a waste of your cooldowns. So yeah, I'd say these were the biggest things. Oh, I'll put one more thing, which is maybe your base timings. I can't remember off the top of my head any more examples, but like that base timing bot when like your whole team's on the map ready to pressure with Baron and you base, that's super, super bad. Ideally, you sync base with your team. But like, I don't think that's super realistic in solo queue, but definitely base after pushing out. You know, like if you push all the waves in and then base, or if you push all the waves down and then pressure, it's way better. Also, like, don't base with full resources. So this isn't always the case, but it's like if you have full HP, full mana, and you just came off a base, like you can pressure so much with the resources you currently have. And if you just base immediately after, you suddenly lose all that pressure. So it's super bad. Oh yeah, another thing for your early game, your warding. So you need to you just need to be way more on point with this, because you're not even placing your wards, but like ward deeper, ward more often. Try and like, yeah, well, I mean, these are the biggest things. It's mainly because like right now you're not even placing your ward, so if you can just place them, that would be good. And when you do ward, it needs to be like deeper slash more useful places, because right now it's just, yeah, they're sort of in completely useless places. As LeBlanc, you can definitely get deeper wards because you're a bit safer than other champs. But even if you can't, just warding the dot bush is so much more valuable than the line bush, like next to mid. And it only takes you like 2 seconds more to create like 1.5 minutes of much better information to your team. So to work on the biggest things for you, I want to say, like just like wave importance or prioritization, like early game and mid game. There's too many times where you're just giving waves for basically nothing. I think the warding as well is really, really important. So I think watch my warding video if you haven't already, like 230 ward, 4-minute ward. You can just skip to the end of that video where I do a TLDR and talk about this, but that will help you a lot, I think. Yeah, also for the early game, the CD punishment is really big. So one thing you can do is in loading screen, just like look up, like, okay, say like lol Lissandra, and just look at her cooldowns. Like look at her cooldown, and you can see, just like maybe just start with like one cooldown. Be like, okay, how long is Lissandra's Q? And then when Lissandra uses Q, you can get into the habit of punishing it, stuff like that. And then I think, yeah, in your team fighting, like target selection slash positioning will go a long way to making sure you're hitting the right target. I think these are the biggest things to improve on. So these two, I guess, are kind of in the early game, more laning stuff. The mid game, well, and the early game, just like making sure, just like keeping, like staying high level slash high farm, not sharing gold slash XP. That's really big for you. And yeah, in your team fighting, try to make sure you're always hitting squishy targets and also positioning in a way that you actually threaten them. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I will copy paste this to you on Fiverr as well. Let me know if you don't mind this VOD being used publicly, like for coaching. And also let me know if you have any questions about like any of it in here or how to implement it. Oh yeah, and definitely let me know what you mean by the like unstable mentality or whatever that was, because I can probably give you better advice if I know a bit more specifically about what you're talking about. But anyway, yeah, thanks for getting some coaching, dude, and yeah, good luck.